Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at, and I'll show you how to install the CURT T-ONE custom fit trailer wiring on our 2025 Buick Envista. Trailer wiring is just one of those things that's absolutely essential to keep you safe and legal out there on the road if you plan on towing with your Buick. It's going to allow your vehicle to send a signal to your trailer and allow those trailer lights to work properly. So that means your turn signals, your brake lights, and also your tail lights. Here's a closer look at our wiring installed on our neighbor's Buick. As you can see, it comes with a dust cap, which not only will protect your plug from road grime or debris, but it also allows you to hang it up on your safety cable loops when you're not using it. So really, it's just your standard 4-pole plug that will plug into any trailer that has a corresponding 4-pole. So really, that's all there is to it. It's just something that's going to be essential if you're doing any towing with your vehicle. I'm also seeing a lot of accessories nowadays with lights on them to keep you safe out there, so you'll also need that for one of those. As for the installation, it's a pretty simple process. You do have to get inside some panels on the inside of your car and then run a wire up to the front. So if it's not something that you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you are looking to get this installed yourself, then just follow along and I'll walk you through the process. Also, if you've installed this on your Buick and you just want to share some tips or tricks with us, please feel free to leave a review or a comment. We'll begin our installation inside the hatch here. Remove your floor covering, set it aside, and then we'll need to get this panel off. It should just be held in by clips, so just go around and release all those clips by pulling them. Once you get these two clips on the outside popped loose, you should be able to lift this up. So you can see there's just metal clips, so some of them seem to be pretty loose and some of them were pretty tough, so don't be scared to kind of give it some muscle to pull it out, but we'll set that aside. Now on both sides, we'll need to remove a 10mm bolt holding this little cargo hook in. And then from there, we should be able to pop this side out. It's just held in by clips once again. We don't have to pull this all the way off, we just need it back far enough so that we can access the wiring behind our taillight. Now underneath the vehicle, we need to get to our turn signal plug, which is up here, but inside of our bumper here. It's quite a reach from below, but if you just reach up, and there will be a locking tab that you'll have to pull back. And if you get that pulled back, you can depress the pin and pull it out. It might be easier to just pull the entire bulb out so I can get access to it. So to pull the bulb out, you just turn it a quarter turn to the left and it will come out. But here's our locking tab. Just pull that back, push in on the pin and separate the plug. This is what we'll be plugging into first. Now with our kit, we'll take our yellow wire and plug it into those plugs that we were just working with. So this end will go into our factory wiring here. Just push it till it clicks. This way. You'll hear that click, then lock your tab. And this end will go into the end that bulb was plugged into. So I'll reach up there, get that plugged in. Get it to click and engage the locking tab. For our black box, I used the included double-sided tape and stuck it to the inside of our bumper there. I also used a zip tie to wrap around just in case that tape were to fail. But now I will get our ground set up. We'll just use the included self-tapper and find some good metal. I think right here will be just fine. And we'll run that in. So now for the rest of our wires, our 4-pole wiring will obviously come back to the hitch. So we'll just get that tidied up and ready over here. Our green wire is for our left side turn signal. So I'll just run this along here, keep it hidden, and plug it in the same way we plugged in the yellow wire over here. Our brown wire actually needs to go up inside the vehicle where we took those panels out. So I think our best bet is to cut a hole through this plastic grommet here. I'll have to cut this wire and re-splice it to feed it up in there. And then our black wire will actually get extended out. Your kit will have this long piece of black wire. That's going to go to our battery. So when we make that connection, you will have these butt connectors in your kit. But anytime we're working outside the vehicle, I'll always recommend using a heat shrink butt connector to ensure that no water gets in and ruins your connection. As for that grommet that I was talking about earlier for our brown wire, I just popped it out and drilled a hole through it, just enough to fit our wire through it once I cut it off. So I'll reinstall that grommet and re-splice our brown wire. But then I'll show you the plug that we will be plugging this end into. It's going to be tucked behind this panel that we took out and plugged in. It's going to be hard to see, so I'll just pop it off. So just like the other connectors, you'll have a locking tab that you'll pull back and the pin that you can push in. Once you have your brown wire spliced and ran through into the inside of the vehicle, we'll just bring it back here and plug it in essentially the same way as those other plugs. We'll plug one end into one end of the factory wiring and the other end into the other. Now I've routed our black wire to the front of the vehicle where our battery is. So we'll just go over the route I took. Really just trying to follow any factory wiring harnesses, and our main goal is to stay away from any hot or moving parts. So we just went up above our subframe here, came along, and from here I just really followed our fuel line up to the front and kept it secured with some zip ties and got up to this point. And from here, I'll have to go from inside the engine bay. I'll feed a airline tubing. You could also use a clothes hanger or something like that in order to fish the wire up and follow these brake lines. And then when we get up there, we'll do our connection to the battery. So we brought our black wire up into our engine bay. What we'll do is I'll cut all of our slack off. Then we'll tie in the fuse holder that came in our kit. I'll put a butt connector on one end to connect it to our black wire. Then a ring terminal on the other end, and we'll end up connecting it right here on this post. This will be a 10mm nut that we'll remove. Now we'll just pop our 10 amp fuse into our fuse holder. And with that installed, we're ready to go to the back and test to make sure everything's working. Now we've plugged in our 4-pole tester. You could always just plug into your trailer to make sure everything's working, but well, we do have these 4-pole testers available here at eTrailer. I'll just run through all of our lights. Right now I have the tail lights on. This is left turn, right turn, and brakes. All that's left is to tidy up your wires and put these rear panels back on. Otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at an installation of the CURT T connector trailer wiring on our 2025 Buick Envista.